The things you should see before we start recording.
I feel like I was just brain fudged.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Gore to Be Gore.
And brain fudged is the best way to explain these movies.
Movie. We're doing two again today. The first one wasn't bad.
The first one was good.
Actually made sense with the title.
It did. The second one didn't follow the title at all.
No?
All it did was hop on the coattails of the first.
Yeah.
We're discussing the 1986 Troll.
Yes.
And then the 1990 Troll 2, which could have less to do with trolls than anything else.
Or even any relation to the first movie at all.
Yeah, none at all. I mean, the first one was great.
It was awesome. It was
Had big name actors in it. Well,
Yep.
you know, semi-big name. Michael Moriarty, he's relatively big name. Everybody knows Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yep.
Then you got Noah Hathaway. Noah Hathaway was the little boy from Neverending Story. Atreyu. That was his name.
Yes.
Atreyu. Cute kid, did not grow up to be an attractive adult. Laugh all you want. We were not appeased. As one of the girls who was like, oh my God, he's so cute. We were not appeased. We were very disappointed.
It's fair.
Great ink work, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jennifer Beck and a little bit of Sonny Bono. I had to explain who Sonny Bono was to him. I had to explain Sonny and Cher. Yeah.
So the if you haven't seen Troll, the first one, it is an awesome tale of this little ugly bugger that ends up taking over the possession of this little girl. And
he didn't technically possess her.
No, but
he stole her away and hid her and assumed her identity.
Yes.
Cute little girl.
And so she starts acting out, acting crazy, like
the rat burger scene was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. More works now.
And then, of course, being a troll, you know, he's very deceptive. He comes and goes in and out of form, but he's got this little ring that allows him with his green light. Green light.
We see this color green again that keeps coming up.
And even in the second one,
yes,
they do it in the second one.
Green must be like the ominous supernatural color, which is pretty much what we've come to the conclusion of.
Yeah, it's whenever there's going to be something creepy going on or unnatural, green is there.
Yes.
So they live in an apartment complex.
Like they're just moving in at the start of the show.
Yes.
And the little girl goes down into the laundry facilities. And that's where she makes contact with said troll. Said troll then proceeds to go from apartment to apartment, turning them into different fairy realms.
Which was really cool. I thought it was neat, especially the little force scene one.
I think they're cool.
And what's crazy, though, is like, they go into them, and then there's scenes like where it's a never-ending room.
Yes!
And it's like they're actually in that world all of a sudden.
It's really, really quite cool. And the monsters were so freaking adorable.
Very well done.
The monsters were so adorable. And the music worked with... I mean, it was your cheesy, corny 80s music.
Yeah, but
the music
with what was
worked
going on.
with it.
You're right.
It had that...
If there was a mysterious scene going on, it wasn't like a jogging 80s scene or music. It was a creepy...
It suited that.
Exactly.
And of course, what blew me away is the mom's picking up on something going wrong.
Right.
But she's not picking up that something's up with the daughter. She notices something's up with the son.
Right.
The son, played by the ever adorable kid who played Atreyu, he's the only one who notices something's off about his daughter. Or sister.
Sister. And also calls her out on it, and then learns that she's a lot more powerful than he is, like strength-wise.
Super physically strong. Like, she flung him across the room.
And he's like, you know, I think it was the dad that comes in, and he's like, oh, nothing's wrong, like, leave, you know, don't piss off the sister, kind of thing.
I think the best scene was he was told to keep an eye on her. So he's up watching her at night,
Yeah.
And here she is, first span, and the little girl's just looking at her magazine. This is a quick side note. This boy had to have been maybe, 13, 14?
I'd say 14.
Sharing a room with his baby sister, who was
7,
probably, give or
8?
take, maybe 4 years younger than him.
Yeah, so, well,
To me, I think a boy and a girl sharing a room is wrong anyway, but I think boys and girls need separate types of privacy.
Right.
Anyway, so he looks over, and here she is reading her magazine. They pan away to him, they come back to her, and it's the troll, and the troll just kind of looks over and smiles, and looks back over, and now it's the little girl. Night, night, Harry.
The tricksterness.
I liked that scene.
The tricksterness that they showed for the troll being what trolls do.
Yes, had a very Loki kind of feel to it.
Yes, absolutely. So it was a good movie.
The funny thing is this little girl is going apartment to apartment. This is a quick reminder of...
Yes, that's right.
How safe it was in the 80s. This little girl is just going door to door, knocking and helping herself in, and these people just don't see. What did that one girl? She was like, okay, well, I got to get ready for an audition, so you just... Do you want something to drink?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and have a seat.
And then leaves the room and goes and gets dressed for this audition. And just leaves this little girl just to roam around in her apartment.
This woman happens to be the actress who will eventually go on to play Elaine on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
The one with the hair.
Yeah.
She was so stinking pretty. She had those beautiful full cheeks and stuff before she started dropping all the weight.
Now, didn't you say that this was the movie that she thought was going to ruin her career, though?
Now, from what I had read in tabloid type stuff, and we can't put a whole lot of weight on that, but I guess a lot of the people who did movies like that thought it might destroy their career when they saw how the box office came back. Which
the box office was really good.
The box office on Troll 1 was great. Their budget was $700,000.
Right.
I'm sorry, $700,000 to $1.1 million. And they brought in $5.5 million in the box office.
1986. I mean, that was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So that's not a disappointment by any means.
She's not the only one that's going door to door. This little boy is looking around for his sister and ends up at the tip top of the apartment complex and comes across this old lady.
Who has all these collectible items throughout.
Oh,
super
it
cool.
looked like a medieval museum in there. Battle axes and all kinds of stuff. I mean, dude, her apartment was cool.
Well, she ends up knowing what's going on, and eventually once the boy, comes to her for questioning about trolls, she then realizes he knows what's going on as well, opens up to the situation that she's there for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. She's a supernatural being. There's a big connection between her and Torok the troll. Watch the movie to find it out. If you've already seen it, you'll know. I loved the creatures. I loved the special effects. The acting really wasn't bad.
No,
the music fit in good with it. Yeah, it was a little cheesy. It was a little corny. But overall, that's a movie I could watch over and over.
I
like it.
Yeah,
I really, really like it. However, Troll 2 came out October 12th, 1990, with a budget of $100,000. Directed by Claudio Fragasso. I'm sure I've just butchered that last name. Italian.
Italian.
This movie could have less to do with trolls than anything else.
It was literally about goblins. They even stated throughout the entire movie that these are goblins, not trolls.
The production quality in comparison was crap.
Yeah.
Absolute
The
crap.
acting was horrible.
Oh, the acting was atrocious.
Dialogue was horrible. And it's about this family that ends up doing a swap house.
Kind of like a student exchange sort of situation.
But they go from the city to go live out in the country for a month while the country folk come in and live in the city house for a month. It's that whole swap out thing.
Again, back to that whole 80s and early 90s safety.
And you have this little boy who is
The most obnoxious little turd. Oh my god.
The facial expression, the camera is always up on this kid's face, and his facial expressions and his whining throughout the entire movie was so aggravating.
And it didn't matter what he said, or he probably
whining.
wasn't even in a whiny situation. He just sounded like a whiner. This kid barely opened his mouth before Drake was like, I want to reach in there and slap him.
So you have the kid that's being told the story about the goblins from his grandpa, which you eventually find out that this kid is seeing his dead grandpa and speaks to him regularly.
The speech between the mom and the son.
So then the mom comes in and finds out that the kid is talking to his dead grandpa again after this kid has been in therapy and stuff like that. And the mom...
You need to just banish him from your mind.
Yeah. Like
she basically sat there and told this kid, just forget Grandpa ever existed.
Yeah,
Grandpa Seth never existed.
But she says it as if a therapist was talking to this kid, like, you need to just banish your grandpa from your mind. And
only his had more feeling. This woman's acting was so horrific.
But she was the best one to watch throughout the entire movie. Because her expressions with her eyes, and you could tell sometimes that she smirked.
Yes.
And
you could definitely see it.
So they go out to what's called
Nilbog. Which is goblin spelled backwards.
Which you find out later on. So they go out there, and it's a town of like 26 people, and they are all vegetarians.
Yes, the entire town is vegetarian, but they're very serious about it to the point where we were convinced these might be vegans.
And so they finally do this welcoming, and they have all these like...
It's so bad!
Desserts and stuff, but everything has this green on it that once you eat it, you start to sweat this green goo for some reason out of your body.
It basically turns you into a plant.
Plant human, because they like the...
Or would you be a human plant?
Well, I'm a human plant, because you'd be human first, then become plant. So human plant, not plant human. It'd be human plant.
Would you be a human plant?
Yeah, because if you're a plant first, then you'd be plant human.
Were they ghost pirates or pirate ghosts?
Ghost pirates.
But that would say that they were ghosts and then they decided to become pirates.
Damn.
South Park.
Yeah. So anyways, so the people there don't eat meat, and they actually have these preacher like ceremonies where they just bash on all sorts of different types of meats and stuff like that. The preacher was your typical Southern preacher. Was so to the T.
Super intense.
Awesome. And he's just bashing on all these different kinds of meats, and everybody's like, meat, So anyways, so then once you become this human plant that's a half and half, then that's where it breaks you down.
You turn into a green gelatinous goo, and they just eat you.
And then that's how they eat you. So the makeup work and the costumes, like
I've seen crap come out of Walmart that look better than that.
Wish has a better buy list than these costumes.
Yeah.
Especially the one with the yellow eyes. If you've seen Trolls 2, you know exactly which one I'm talking about, because it is the only goblin, whatever the hell they are, that has
stationary.
That has that face throughout. Why they would do that? And it's like his eyes are like this, and they're yellow, and you could tell that there's slits.
What did that owl see?
It's a meme. Hilarious.
It just is so bad.
This movie is horrible.
It's definitely...
But it's funny to watch. It's one of those that if you have a sense of humor in the bad acting in the B-movie realm like we do...
It's hilarious.
It was hilarious to watch. But this is what's funny. When we did a restroom break, so we paused the movie. I'm like, man, we've had to have been watching this movie for like an hour or so. Like, it's got to be close. And I checked, and we were 28 minutes in. And it's an hour and 34 minutes. It was funny. So, but as the movie goes on, it's almost like they progressively get worse or worse at their acting and at the situations, which makes it funnier and funnier because you have the witch that constantly has her eyes like bogged out and doing all these weird facial expressions.
She looked like she needed chapstick, like it was no one's business.
Almost like a wannabe Johnny Depp with the way she was kind of moving sometimes.
It was like Johnny Depp playing Jack Sparrow mixed with Helen Bonham Carter.
Yes.
If Depp and Carter had a baby.
This is what it looked like.
Yes.
And so...
a whole lot of this.
And to kind of get you into one of the scenes here, this is towards the end of the movie. You know which one I'm talking about.
No.
So they have this stone that makes this witch...
It's from Stonehenge.
Makes her become young and beautiful again, but only for a certain amount of time because she has to feed her troll babies and do this.
She's basically the queen of the trolls.
Yeah, So anyway, so she ends up going out to the trailer or the RV that this young kid is staying at and has this corn cob.
She is extremely provocative with this corn cob.
And then, like, when she talks him into going back into the RV, she just looks like over to the camera, opens up a pocket in her dress, sticks the corn cob in about halfway, and then turns around and walks into the RV, and then goes up to the kid and is like, like trying to seduce him, and she's like, "Oh, we need to make this hot." And she pulls the corn cob out, bites into it, and makes him bite it, and they're eating it at the same time. All of a sudden, and it's a popcorn gun that they're shooting the popcorn out from the side. And popcorn starts freaking going everywhere. It's so funny.
No more popcorn. No more popcorn.
Yeah, then the next morning, he's completely covered all the way up to his eyeballs in popcorn. And he starts moving it away. He's got popcorn in his ears, in his nose, in his mouth.
I still don't understand the popcorn scene.
There was no reason for it because that's the only time, that 30 seconds or whatever. And then even at the end of the movie, they actually leave that kid there. And
you never hear anything more about it, and you didn't really know much prior.
Nope, that's
it fit nowhere in there. And like I was telling you earlier, the cast and the crew got together many, many eons later for a reunion. The director crashed this Q&A because there is a heavy fan following for Troll 2. They're what I like to call wrong. He crashes this, and Claudio is just, he is so upset. He thought that this movie was so much better than it actually was. He was really pissed off about the reception of it and everything. He was escorted out of the Q&A, cursing and screaming at the cast members, calling them liars and dogs. Now, reasoning for why the acting was so bad. Claudio and his wife were the writer-director type thing, I believe. Italian.
Yep.
Spoke very little English.
Yep.
So all the scripts were written in very broken English.
Yep.
A majority of the acting was all improv because their scripts made no sense.
And they were supposed to be fill people. They were supposed to be background people. The people that ended up being the stars of the movie.
They auditioned to be extras.
They were supposed to be all extras, and then they ended up becoming the main actors with no acting experience or anything.
Yeah.
So that.
But the bad acting, as it got worse throughout the movie, actually made it better.
Yes. As the movie went on, made it better because then all you could do was laugh at the situations that came up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And some of the polls I looked at puts Troll 2 in the top 5 of the worst movies to ever be produced.
I can definitely see why.
I could see why too, because it is in my top 5 of the best worst movies.
Yep.
I mean, I'll rewatch it. I've been rewatching it for years, but every single time it's like a freaking train wreck. You can't look away.
Yeah, and that's just it. You can't look away.
No matter how many entrails and limbs are laying everywhere and blood squirting about, you can't help but look.
So funny. So what are you rating Trolls? The Troll, the first one.
Troll, the first one, I'm always going to keep at about let's go 3.
I was going to do a 3.
I'm going to say 3. Only because I really did like the music, and I liked the environments they created and the creatures.
It was pretty neat.
Yeah, it was like low budget Jim Henson creatures. They were really cool.
It's pushing a 4 just because of its originality.
Yes, it is definitely pushing a 4.
But the Troll 2, yeah, that's a 1 for me.
Can we give it a 0?
No, because it was funny.
All right, I'll give it a 1.
I'm giving it a 1.
Yeah, I'll go 1. And the only thing that saved it is because the mom's facial reactions were hilarious and the acting just got worse as it went along.
Yep.
But so much of that movie made no sense.
Absolutely no sense. And that's why I'm giving it a 1, because of the randomness of it.
And if you were going to ride off the coattails of another movie and make it a sequel, don't make them goblins when they're supposed to be trolls.
Yeah, that made no sense.
The hell was the writer and director thinking?
I don't know. So, that is our opinions on the movies.
That's our take on Troll 1 and 2.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much. And every single one of you have absolutely pleasant nightmares.